There still lives a car called Eric, whose name inspired the name Derek, who's currently owned by a man who's a cleric. Actually, that's not true, he's a minister. The Reverend Jason Parry Hughes, also known as Boaty. This is a no-nonsense sales pitch for this car called Derek, and I mean proper no-nonsense, because this is a workhorse of a car, but it's not a nice car particularly. I mean, it's all right. It's better today than it was yesterday, for example, because I've just replaced that wheel and tyre, and also that wheel and tyre with ones which are much better than the previous. First of all, it has the L series diesel engine. A very good engine indeed. An underrated engine. When you see Rover 75s for sale and it has a diesel, the seller always says, got a BMW engine, you know. Yeah, the best BMW engine they've ever made. Not the fastest, but possibly one of the most reliable. But it's still not as good as the L series. L series. L for love. L for lovely. L for a bit lazy. Old style diesels that just do their job. And economical too. Yeah, that's really it. I can't praise the L series enough. Actually, I could probably praise it too much, but I'm not going to because it would be quite difficult. Right, I shall calm down now and talk about the rest of the car. I've got a folder here full of paperwork. Right, it turns out it's only got 2 months MOT, but besides that split gator, it may be perfectly all right with everything else, but I'm soon about to find out because I'm going to be driving it. So let's have another quick look around it in case there was anything I missed yesterday. First of all, this is a blue car. It's a blue car of excellent opportunity because obviously this wing here needs replacing. That's not an MOT failure, but it looks all around it. There's various scuffs and scratches. Now most of these, in fact, I would say pretty much all of these could be buffed out by somebody who's got time to do it. And oh, you know what could happen here? I could end up doing some of that if only I had time today, but I haven't. I haven't got any time. I haven't got time to be making this video. I'm supposed to be setting off. Some rust in the usual places, but well, I don't think it's that bad actually. Yeah, okay, it's fine. It's just a bit. Now this here, that's rather distracting, that lack of peel. But obviously there's not a lot of point in having that fixed because that's worse than that. The mileage is low at 67,000, but the MAF sensor is a bit in need of replacement. So it starts and drives, but it's just not as quick as it should be. That's the problem. These MAF sensors are a common problem with these, and it simply just doesn't give it enough fuel. So it starts, it runs, it'll pass its MOT without any emissions issue. It just won't be really quick, and they weren't that quick to start with. So yeah, time to take the old beastie out, see if it's any better than it was yesterday. Fairly good chance it was just down to worn out tyres and stuff. But I'm not going to be going very far before I have to go and get some diesel, so let's go and do that first. Gosh, it's a lot happier today. Yes, that's more like it. Dreadfully tatty on the outside, but actually it drives well now. It's just, isn't it amazing the difference some tyres or wheels can make? Well, that's transformed it. Now, personally, I've always felt that these R3s, the Rover 25s, Streetwise, any of those, work much better with a petrol engine. They just have the character for petrol. But you simply cannot beat a diesel for motorway. So what's this one going to be like on the motorway? Because so far and up to 50, it's all good. Will it continue to be good? Or will something rattle its way off and leave me stranded on the hard shoulder? Someone's trying to call me. Can't really answer that, can I? Oh, it's warm. Good excuse to try out the aircon. Aircon button goes on. Air coming out the vents. Air coming out the vents at the same temperature as it was before. Good news, 70 miles per hour, absolutely no issue whatsoever. It picks up to 70 easily and drives in a straight line. This car is actually a lot better than I was expecting. I was just looking at it and thinking about my Streetwise that I've recently acquired, and I just got thinking, well, my Streetwise is much nicer, much tidier. It's going to drive much better. I like the look of it more. All of these kind of things. And now, well, I still think the same thing, but it really is, it's not like an old banger to get rid of. It is actually an opportunity to make a nice car, because all it really does need is a few bits of tidying up. All of the scratches can be removed and a nice set of alloys fitted. And then of course we have our friend Chaz Lee, who can supply you with an ECU that will make this car quick as well. And at 66,000 miles, it's definitely not over the hill, so it's perfectly capable of doing it. On the M60, the part of the M60 that definitely doesn't get confused with the M62. I'm enjoying this car much more than I was expecting to do. They're just so good on the motorway. You might have gathered where I'm going with this at the moment, but it is over to meet Boaty halfway, where we're doing a little swap over of cars. And he suggested to me that perhaps I should take this one as my car to replace Eric. And I just thought, nah, I don't really want it, because I've got the Streetwise. So it would have been sell the Streetwise and keep this. More economical, it's less precious, it would kind of suit me. And I thought, nah. But now I'm thinking, yeah, perhaps that wouldn't have been such a bad idea after all, because I do love to make a tatty car look a bit more interesting or nicer. I do. That's what I like to do. I do. Do I have to tell you any further? No, I probably don't. And here we are, ready to get on to the M67. It's one of the loneliest motorways around Manchester. Gone and overestimated the amount of time it takes to get to this particular destination. I probably could have spent at least half an hour making this car look more presentable for the video, but instead, no, I set off thinking, oh, I might need an hour and 20 minutes to get there, and 20 minutes so far, and I'm almost there. It's going to be a bit of a long wait for me. Look at it, it's like being in the 70s. I'm at the meetup place 55 minutes early, and Boaty's likely to be half an hour late. Tesco car park in Mottram at 10 to 1. I don't mind a little wait, but this one's becoming quite long now. Phone's going a bit low, and the 12-volt socket doesn't work in this car. Plenty of life in this one, and plenty of life in my big bottle of milk. Sitting down in Tesco like a couple of squatters. What a strange experience that was, spending all day in Tesco car park. I mean, not actually all day, but because I went to the toilet twice in Tesco. It felt almost like being on a night out where no beer's consumed. So what I didn't really do there is finish off the no nonsense sales pitch video for Derek, the diesel car. No, I didn't finish it off, did I? That's because I got distracted with this car. This car, as you know, as you may know, is called Barney. Barney the Streetwise, acquired about a week ago, and I have very much come to the conclusion that this is my car now. This is the replacement for Eric. It's not entirely like for like, is it? Because it's not a diesel. Boaty's idea was I should have taken on Derek the diesel, because it's a diesel and it's an older one, so it has many good parts. But somehow, ever since I first saw this car come into the yard, something happened. I've never really liked a Streetwise. I've never owned one. And suddenly I found myself thinking, that's me, that is. That car's me. And I've very much made my mind up that it's a keeper. So there we go. Welcome to the family, Barney. And I haven't been able to figure out why. Why is it I like this car? Because it's the least rovery of all the Rovers that I have, or I've even had. Yeah, the least rovery. That's not going to be a sign of things to come, where I prefer things that aren't rovery, but it's like all of the things that they did in desperation right at the very end, besides the City Rover, let's forget about that. I get it now. Everything was cheapened, everything seemed a bit desperate, and I think it's that last effort to try and keep things going that suddenly I can see and appreciate, and I can feel it within this car, and it just makes me want to keep it. And it has the added advantage of it not being particularly rare or particularly special, but it is good. It's a looked after car. Cosmetically, it's got a few things wrong with it here and there, but I'm always quite comfortable with that anyway. I am happy to park it outside the house and just not really worry about it. In case you're a bit confused at this moment, I would be, perhaps I should explain something. Derek, the blue Rover 25 diesel, was being used by Boaty as his everyday car because it's cheap to run. And then he brought it down here. Finally, time to get rid of it. My job was to do the no nonsense sales pitch, of which I didn't really finish off because I took it back to him so he can carry on using it. So it seems like we've both committed ourselves to a car that we only have in the first place to sell. Look, there we go. There's a commitment to it being my car. Gosh, it suits that sticker.